All right, welcome back, Idol friends. Let's talk about Duets Night. Let's talk about where the show is at right now and what they're trying to do. All right, first of all, as far as tonight's show, there are some issues with, I think, some of the contestants. We're starting to see some of these things that I was pointing out earlier. We're going to start to see where the strengths and weaknesses are hidden versus magnified. And tonight, coming into this, we knew that there were a few contestants that had really had a hard night Wednesday night. Emily Brooke, Jordan Sasser, James VIII, Jenna Renae. They were all pretty much going to go. The fifth person was questionable. Stephany Negrete was likely to go. Gianna Isabella and Avalon were the other three I thought that possibly could be that fifth and deciding person that's going to go. And instead, we saw some surprises. Meaning in the duets, we saw a couple people just step up, a couple just basically nosedive. So let's jump into things and see how things go. Now we're going to start off. Like to start off with listening to what the judges have to say in the opening segment about what it is they're looking for in duets. And to be honest, I thought the duets thing was kind of a joke. I mean, it's like, why are we doing this? This is not necessary. It's like a wasted episode. But as long as they're still doing the eliminations that night, okay, I guess they're trying to make it more interesting. But ultimately, in this duets round, what we're going to see is how well these matchups are going to work for certain contestants. Some of them are going to it'll be an ideal setup. Some of them it's like, what? This doesn't even make sense. So this is where things are technically not fair, right? Because the producers are making the calls. The contestants don't get to pick the songs. They're kind of stuck with what they get. So this is where that kind of intangible skill that you don't really see going into this, you don't know how much people really have in the tank, and that is the ability to explore an unknown area, which is a song that you didn't pick, a style you didn't pick, and it's like, okay, what do I have a say in this song? Do I get to pick my moments? And if I do, then what ones are the best ones for me? And how do I make these moments meaningful? Okay, and this is exactly what J-Lo said. When she was doing her little intro speech.
They come out tonight, Jen, in thinking of last night as well.
Listen to what she says here.
Everybody had a great voice, but it was about what they chose to do in that moment for you with the song or just with that connection.
Absolutely. It's always about the moment that you create for the audience at that moment, and for us, because we're judging every single moment. So,
okay, hopefully that sounds familiar, because that's what I preach all the time. It's all about the moments, right? And so J-Lo's pointing that out. So moving forward from here on out, that's how we can compare everybody. Let's just look at the quality of their moments. Okay, and that's what I'm going to critique. So tonight, starting with some of the alums, we're going to talk about some of their moments and what they may or may not have been doing to show that they are truly an idol or somebody that deserves a long career in this industry. So, with that setup, it's all about the moments. And it's those moments Wednesday night that pretty much guaranteed certain people weren't going to make it through. So let's see what the show does with what we got to work here. Now we start, first contestant is Emily. Okay, we already know that she's got right genre, right look. Okay, now what I found interesting is Larnalena didn't nail those notes. Again, she kind of hit them but didn't nail them. So the nice thing is it allowed Emily a little bit of leeway too. It didn't put quite as much pressure on her. Now, having said that, this song's still too big for Emily. And, you know, it'd be kind of like, imagine if Taylor Swift was on here. Do you really think Taylor Swift could hold her own against Elena? Okay, so again, it's kind of not fair to start with. It's not a fair matchup. Now, having said that, did Emily redeem herself? I think she did. You know, she sounded way better in the duet round than she did in her solo round. And we do see that Emily's got some marketability, I think. You know, she just needs to strengthen a few little areas. I mean, I see her being very marketable. And I think she's cute. She's got a great sound. You know, she's motivated. She seems teachable. You know, she's just young. What is she, 16? I mean, come on. So find the right mentor for her and just strengthen up some of those areas. And I see her being a legitimate artist. So, you know, even though she didn't make it, you know, the show set her up to fail this episode. You know, someone that crashes and burns the night before, you need to give them a pimp spot closer to the end, not first thing in the show. That pretty much assures she's not going to be around. But we knew that after Wednesday anyway, right? Okay, so moving right along, we'll move to our second contestant, and that is Thomas Stringfellow. Now, he gets hooked up with Nick, and they do a Michael Jackson song. And supposedly this is out of Thomas's wheelhouse, as one thing that Keith commented on is, you know, one of the challenges of a duet is figuring out how to stay within your area when you're being thrust into something that might not be your area. Okay, well, the problem is, listen to Nick, because I'm not happy with Nick singing here. This is terrible, actually. Listen to this. He misses the ending.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life.
It's my life.
It's gonna
It sounded bad.
real good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right.
Right. He doesn't quite find the notes he's looking for. So, okay, again, all this does, it makes it easier for Thomas to hang. And it lowers the bar that Thomas has to meet to pass. Okay, so he's already got the little, you know, he loves to put little things at the end of his phrases, so the Michael style actually fits him even though he thinks it doesn't. So, let me just say, the fact that Thomas is really kind of at the same place emotionally as Nick, this song works. And when I say that, Thomas doesn't sound great here, but he's good enough to hang with Nick, which isn't a high bar, but it's still something that it makes Nick not look like a superstar, but it does make Thomas look like he should be able to hang, okay? And he does. I don't think it was as terrible as they made it sound like, which was, wow, good thing you sang Creep last night. No, I wouldn't take it that extreme, but it wasn't great. But Thomas is someone was obviously gonna make it through. They like his vibe. He's not in the same league as a MacKenzie. Thomas isn't going to last very long, but he's at least going to make it probably to the top 10 or 12. All right. Next contestant. We're to Stephany. And with Stephany, let me just say, it's so interesting to see a contestant like her. Because first appearance, she's got everything we're looking for. And when you first heard her sing, her sound is beautiful and big. Okay, but that's where the end is, though. It's like her ability to really connect and the tenderness and sensitivity as she's singing her lines doesn't come through. You know, when she sings, I feel it's rehearsed I don't feel it's her. Like, I don't know Stephany yet. I know Stephany the pageant performer. I don't know Stephany the musician. And even Ruben doesn't sound fantastic. So again, the meaning of that is Stephany's bar isn't as high. If the Idol alum is just okay, and for him, you know, Ruben's usually an 8 or 9 guy. You know, his style's usually really good. Sometimes it's a little cheesy. But this is terrible. Listen to how badly she misses this. Okay, that was just painful. Okay, if you're a jazz musician and you know this is kind of a jazzy ballad, right? Well, her licks just weren't good. They weren't, the timing was off, the intonation was off, the intensity was off. So it's like 3 of the 4 things were off. And to me, this is where Stephany sealed her fate. Hearing Avalon sing with Ruben, and then fortunately, the other bubble person sang with Ruben. So the fact that both bubble people sang with Ruben, and we could compare how they did, you know, Avalon just blows her away. There's no comparison. Stephany really needs some depth musically. You know, she needs to sing some more songs that she can just really connect with. Because what I realize is she's good at doing the pageant type of preparation, but she's not good at doing the serious artist preparation for a song. Okay, and so those are 2 things. You know, I haven't thought about this before until just now, but I think that's a mindset. You know, when you go into a performance looking at it like a pageant versus you going into looking at it like it's your concert and this is your song. So when you're imitating and interpreting versus when you're just revealing who you are through music, that's the difference in the mindset that Stephany's lacking. And that's why, even though at one point I thought, wow, she could go really far in this, but then once I realized what her weaknesses were of interpretation, her artistry, that's what's missing.
It's just a radio. Don't you remember you told me you loved me, baby?
And see, there's just, again, Stephany didn't do anything to show her uniqueness. That's the sad thing, is she was a cover singer instead of really making it her own and making it special. So again, after that, I knew she was our final elimination, and that's why there was really not one surprise at all
So far, but remember, only 7
once we
out of
started
12
getting into
will
that.
make it through tonight. So a lot
Okay,
on the
now,
line for all of them.
Sonika.
You might find this next pairing a little unusual, but their performance might just surprise.
Okay. Yes, the performance surprised me, only in that it showed me what Sonika's weaknesses are in spades. You know, this is exactly why Sonika probably won't win, and she might not even make like top 5 unless she figures out how to dig deeper. Okay, so this is a perfect example where the song is calling for 7s and 8s, and intensity-wise, 9.5s. Okay, Skyfall is a hard song to sing because you have to keep the intensity moving as you're building up that chorus. And this is what Sonika doesn't do.
Season 13 winner Caleb Johnson.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to this and you'll see what I'm talking about. When she's building up, it's like, okay, and the sky fall. Okay, here's how she does it. Da 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 da. In other words, those 3 notes. Da 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 da. Okay, it's not volume as much as intensity. The intensity has to grow in each of those 3 notes. Okay, and that's what Sonika doesn't quite get yet. So let's call your intensity knob 1 to 10. Well, Sonika needs to get into 7 and 8 at least, and she only gets to about a 4. I almost feel like her dial only goes up to a 4, maybe a 5 max. So she's missing 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 on her knob. So what happens is she doesn't have enough room to build. So we're missing the emotion. It works on ballads, but it doesn't work on something like this.
This is the end.
Like, it's beautiful, but the intensity's not there.
And count to 10.
That's too weak of an intensity.
Move and then
That's like a 2, and it needs to be a 4 or a 5 already.
hear my heart burst again.
See, it's too subtle. It's not sizzle intensity. Okay, there's two kinds of intensity. There's a sizzle intensity where you kind of lean into it, and then there's a soft intensity. Okay, this needs more sizzle. Sonika's using the soft. Stephany Negrete, when she's trying to build intensity, she's using the soft intensity. You need the sizzle intensity. You need to drive it. Okay, so this is what I don't feel she does. Even Caleb doesn't quite. He's not getting underneath it enough either. Right there, those notes, those big notes, you need to be pouring in emotion, and he's not. He's just barely giving it a little bit, but not enough to fuel it. There's not enough fuel. Okay, now right here. See, she's going, when the sky falls and the crumble. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's not da 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 da. No, it's da 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 da. And you want to be able to lean into it and build that intensity. That's what she doesn't do. See, she's getting at about a 5 or 6 of the intensity, and she needs to be at an 8 or a 9. I hope that makes sense, because this is really important. This is... And even here, see how she doesn't have enough gas. She's like at a 4 or 5, and even this lick, she does a lick. Like, it was the right lick, but the lick only got to about a 7. Like that. She didn't nail it. You know, she didn't really kill it. Okay, Gianna Isabella. She does a little improv thing where she gets there. You know, it's more, she owns it. Sonika's was hesitant, timid. So, like I say, I'm seeing her weakness and why she's not going to make it as far as some of us might have thought she might. Alright, so let's keep moving. Okay, we're going to jump over here. Okay, Jenna Renae. I'm just going to make this one short and sweet, okay? Scotty sounds fantastic, by the way. Scotty sounds great on this. And the difference is, listen to his storytelling. Scotty's storytelling is really approachable and accessible, and it's easy to understand. Well, the sad thing is, Jenna Renae didn't get those moments, and so she was basically just the kind of like background singer that was singing harmonies with him. I don't think she really made a moment out of it. And like I say, she's good, but she's not great, and she didn't bring anything unique into this. So again, that's why I knew she was not going to make it.
So when you get back from LA, what's the first thing you want to do? Just go see him.
Yeah.
So be thinking of that and saying, yeah, I love this arrangement.
What would be your biggest piece of advice?
Randy kept telling me and the judges, like, stay in your lane and then just be you. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Yep.
it might have been most
Stay in your lane. That's the moral of the story, but it's way more than
I do feel a little bit
that.
of pressure because it's Scotty's song, and America absolutely loves Scotty.
See, she's in her lane, but she just doesn't know what to do with it.
love talking to you on the phone.
See, his phrasing's great on this. It sounds like studio.
Yeah.
Listen to your sweet voice all night long.
That's all phrasing.
Sometimes I can get by with the sweet dreams, baby, good night. But this time, I don't want to spend it alone.
See, he totally understood the lyric, and he told that in such an easy to understand way. That was really well done. You know, that was like a 9.5 as far as what you're trying to accomplish with you know, that seemed like a throwaway moment. It didn't seem that important. But it did really sound good. Now the sad thing is she's been reduced though to just the duet singer support person, but she doesn't really do anything. See, that look from J-Lo was like, it's not doing it for me. See, she's not getting to the center of the pitch. She kind of is, but it's a little off. The biggest problem I've had with her from day one is pitchiness. And it's what it is. It's that final effort to get to the center of the pitch. She doesn't make it, and so what happens is she leaves it a little bit off, and she seems okay with that. Okay, that's what I'm not okay with. That's why she's good and not great, and that's why she doesn't deserve to make it any further. And that's why it was a no-brainer that she was going to be eliminated. Okay, now
Spot. Well, I'm going through them.
let's move on. LaPortia and Fantasia. Okay, what a great pairing. And this is a classic performance. Now, they definitely were slightly different, right? Even though they're both from church, they're both gospel-y, they both had a lot of common. I mean, it was cool the way they were bonding and how much they did have in common. But this song is such a perfect vehicle. And Fantasia so owned this when she was on the show. It was like, wow, what is LaPortia going to do to hang with Fantasia? So I thought it was really cool the way they came out, and they both just killed it. So, let's watch a little moment of this. You know, if you want to watch the whole thing, there's some cool moments in there. You know, talking about storytellers and putting elements, artistry. Look at Fantasia do it. Listen to this. That's musicianship. And now LaPortia, not to be outdone. Now what's great is both of them have so many tools in their toolkit. There's so many options they have available to them. So what's nice is, because there's so many choices they can draw from, they can just turn it on autopilot and just trust their intuition. And boy, does it come through here. See, the timing, how you play with the rhythms here is beautiful too. And that's advanced stuff. That's a whole other thing I won't even get into now. But and see, it's cool of Fantasia to give LaPortia the moment, you know. See, this is great musicianship. Because they both are working it, okay? They both got a lot in the tank here. Okay, it's, we want to hear them singing more. I mean, a bigger song, something they can get even more into. Okay, now I'm skipping all the judges' comments. You know, you've heard theirs already. This is about my comments, right? All right, so let's get on. Let's jump over to. Okay.
He's so cute.
MacKenzie.
Thank
Now,
you, America.
forget all the flirting that Lauren Elaine is doing with MacKenzie. Let's take it for what it is, and that is, let's look at how MacKenzie interprets this.
I hope you never lose your sense of wonder.
Okay. I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. Okay. MacKenzie is feeling the lyric beautifully. Okay, so what happens is we come out, it's like, MacKenzie's got to sing I Hope You Dance, a power country ballad. How's he going to do it? Okay, so again, so far, what we've seen with MacKenzie is he's not afraid of this unknown space. You know, he wrote those original tunes, his first audition, and they were great. Or I shouldn't say wrote them, he did that arrangement of the medley of 3 of their tunes. And it was great. And he hasn't let us down. I think MacKenzie is, he's the most interesting contestant for me. Because I still want to see how much deeper he can go. What I'm finding is he's got great musical instincts. And I'm kind of putting him on a pedestal. He's the guy to beat right now. Because I think he's got the best set of skills to be able to take this all the way to the end. Because he's much more creative. The fact that he plays the guitar and he can write, he feels the music deeper. You know, so him and LaPortia, again, if they were the last 2, who would win out of them? So, let's listen to more MacKenzie.
You always get your feeling, but never lose that hunger. I know you never take one single breath for granted.
See, he builds his phrases properly. You know, he's emphasizing the right syllables. And Lauren Elena also redeemed herself. I thought the first song she missed a few notes. This one she, you know, no question as to her power. Okay, so bottom line is we knew MacKenzie was going through. He did a really good job of figuring out a way to make that song work for him. Okay, so you got to give this guy a lot of potential credit. You know, he could take it all the way if he's smart. Okay, Scott Burchetta, I'm not sure what he has to say because he doesn't say much. It's more, you know, I think he likes to be on camera and this and that, but he really doesn't say much. You know, he's been stuck with having to figure out what to do with Nick. Nick's a disaster. He's not going to turn into anything. For Gianna Isabella to have to sing this song with Nick, this was hard too. I think
At first, we actually had quite a few mix-ups.
She did a good job with the song, but the song is what it is. There's only so much stuff you could show, and I don't think this is a great showpiece. See, this is a shout, sing song. You don't even have to sing it, so it's just hard to show anything. Now, she does a lick in here, that's okay. You know, they want this song to be a big epic, you know, arena song, but it's okay. You know, Gianna she's going for it, but doesn't quite. Okay, that was her moment. That was a good lick. It was much better than Sonika's lick, okay? So now,
I was like I was at
being able to explore the unknown. I think Gianna Isabella has more courage and more experience. She's more willing to take risks. Okay, so again, look at the Sonikas. Look at who's going to be left. Tristan. You know, we've got Olivia Rox coming, who can hang with them. She can do this stuff. So if anything, I'm seeing Sonika's weaknesses making her vulnerable. I could see Sonika going before some of these other people. All right. So, Gianna Isabella did an okay job. It was just not a great song to work with. But, it stayed in the same place. But she did what she could with it. All right. Now, next person, Avalon. And to me, this is a great performance. And what I mean by this, I had Avalon as the, coin flip between her and Stephany. After this, Avalon locked in that she wasn't going anywhere. And the fact that she rises to the occasion on this, in the moment, live. Look at this.
You'll find it in the strangest places. Yeah.
See, she needs to put a little teeny bit more into it. She needs to milk those moments a little bit more, but she feels them, though. That's the nice thing. Okay, now, this song is really cheesy. I felt bad for Ruben to have to sing it originally. See, what's great is this is so out of Avalon's comfort zone, but she rises to the occasion, I think. And what it is musically, she rises. This is like a Mary J. Blige performance. Look at Avalon as Mary J. Blige. And if you're trying to do a Mary J. Blige, Avalon does a really good, convincing, urban pop interpretation. And I like it. I think she shows why she's way better than Stephany. And to me, this made it an easy decision for the judges. Okay. So that solves the tie. Now we know exactly who's going to make it. There's no question to me. I didn't even need to watch the results to know what was going to happen.
Just vamping on
the guitar. That's like James VIII. Again, this was just something we needed to get through. Okay, this is a song that, to me, it reminds me of if someone like Eric Clapton, say, was on this show. Okay, he wouldn't win. He wouldn't be able, that's not his forte. It's not that, hey, look how technically great of a singer I am. It's more, here's the vibe I do, and I just, that's all the vibe requires. It doesn't need to be better than this. That's all it requires. Okay, well, this show requires more than that. So when the song only requires this much, how do you build it into the song? That was the problem James VIII had. It's like Gimme Shelter, just, it's a rock song, so it starts somewhat, and it just stays there. And the range of motion isn't very great. So, again, James VIII was basically doing his farewell performance. It was obvious that was going to happen. He's all over the place. If Caleb takes it up an octave, that's all you can do with this song, because it's, think about it, it just a shine away. What do you do? That's like 2 notes, 3 notes. There's nothing you can do on this. I mean, this is just a jam tune for James. Caleb has the voice. He could do something, but James really had nowhere to go on this. So, I just felt it's just not, this again was James' swan song. It just didn't work. And so we can't get rid of these kind of contestants quick enough, because you just know they don't have the longevity, they don't have the endurance potential to make it to the end. All right, so with all due respect to my fellow Salt Lake boy James, hope to meet him sometime. He's a good musician. he's just not a good fit for American Idol. You know, I'd love to see him work and get better, and I'd like to help him.
Caleb and James. You
All right, let's move on. Okay, we're down to the last couple. And now I gotta say something about Jeneve here.
And he was really young.
I'm not sure why the judges dogged her so bad on this. I didn't think it was bizarre. I thought it was I mean, she's country. It's Scotty and her. What else is gonna happen? I think she did a great job. So I think they were way hard on her, and they shouldn't have beat her up so hard.
Lisa's gone, 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 gone. Let's go.
You know, I think she's really... Okay, I'm going to give Jeneve an 9 on this for her effort. Because this may not be her style, but she gives it her best. You know what? Jeneve isn't holding back here. Compare Jeneve to Sonika. Okay, who's giving their best here? You know, Jeneve deserves all the credit. I don't think it's bizarre. I don't think it's that weird. The song is what it is. And I'm looking at Jeneve as having stepped up again. Her pocket's fine. Her style is great. She's even got those little in-between things she's going for. You know, her voice can't get there, but she's trying. See? Okay, Keith's like, what? Okay, I'm going, Jeneve, I love your spirit. I love that you're going for it. You have no fear. You're fearless. That's what American Idol should have. Okay, so to heck with what the judges said. Now, don't listen to him, Jeneve. You're fine. All right, now, this leads us to our final performance. And this one, like I said, I don't even know why we had to watch it. Because Jordan Sasser, you know, I've been dogging him from day one, but this just seals the deal for me. You know, he got rid of his hair. Now he looks really just kind of like out of the 80s.
A little bit.
You are so
90s.
Carolina.
It's like he's 20 years behind the scene. You know, his style is it doesn't fit anything poppy. You know, it's more like a musical theater style or plays or something. But I don't feel this guy. And the sad thing about George, he's got this beautiful wife, this really cute little baby. I want this guy to be likable. But just watch him. He's not fun to watch. He looks like he's in pain. See, Fantasia's smiling while she's going for things. Gordon's trying, but he just... The energy's not there. It's like he's a white guy trying to be soulful, and it's just not working. He's at the max of what he's feeling, and so he's trying to get there by yelling. And I'm sorry, but usually the last spot is the pimp spot. That's the person they want to make it. I don't know where they came up with the idea that maybe they just didn't have a good closer song, and I Believe's a good song, but wow, Jordan just crashed and burned. And then they just rip him a new one by the judges. I just felt terrible for this guy. So at this point, yeah, let's just consider this a real kind of sad way to end our first top 12 duet night. Because all we did is we just saw why Jordan shouldn't have been there in the first place. You know, to me, this overflows with poor decision making by the producers and the judges for some of the members of this top 24. Okay? And when I'm saying that, there's just a lot of hypocrisy in what the judges were saying. Like one week they'd say, hey, you know, I'm setting the bar as, could you be the next idol? And that's what you got to be. And if I don't see you there, then I'm not going to put you through. Well, they did that a couple times, but then even auditions, they lowered the bar so low sometimes. And then Hollywood Week comes along, and again, there were some people that I thought got robbed. There were a lot of people that should have at least, if you look at who's in the 24, there were half a dozen guys that were way better. And there are at least 3 or 4 girls that definitely should have been there, Jessica Cabral. And as such, I kind of feel the show made some big mistakes. Okay, and this duet thing, it was kind of a disaster in a lot of ways. I don't think anybody really shined, per se. It was more like, let's just get through this. So, okay, we've got the first 7 of our top 14. But how are we going to get down to 12? How are we going to get down to 10? We'll have to see. All right. At this point, I won't repeat what happens on the final results. I think everybody knows who made it and who didn't. Like I say, I knew LaPortia was through. I knew Sonika was through. I knew Thomas was through. MacKenzie and Jeneve. The 2 variables for me were Gianna Isabella, but I still felt she was a lock. And that left Avalon. And, some people may feel that Stephany is a more appropriate person to pass through, but I don't think so. Musically speaking, Avalon stepped up and Stephany didn't. So the decision was good. Avalon was just as out of her element. If anything, Stephany should have been in her element with that song, and she just didn't. She didn't step up. So, again, no loss. Emily has potential down the road. She needs some work still. Jenna Renae, I think she's just meant to be a club singer. She just doesn't have anything special. Nothing in her look, nothing in her image, nothing in her sound. James VIII, again, I like the guy. I think he's got a cool vibe. He'd be a great person to front a band, to be in a band. I kind of liked what him and Amy, the other girl that he was working with at first, were doing. I'd like to meet them sometime, see if I could work with them. I think I could help them dig deeper and get their music to a deeper level. Jordan Sasser, no love lost there. And then Stephany Negrete. On paper, she looks like she could be the next American Idol. But helping her learn to get deeper emotionally. She'd be a perfect person for my listening classes, where that's exactly what we do, is we teach people how to get in tune with the sensitive areas of the music and dig deep and explore some new areas so that you can grow the emotion options that you can pull from. Stephany doesn't have enough emotion options. She's still, kind of boxed in. She's hiding the emotion by having pretty good technique and sound and everything. All right. That should be it. And we'll look forward to next week